granddaddy of the summer blockbuster.
What a great idea.
Has to be Spielberg. Yeah, I just thought of it right now. Let's just go ahead and do it on a whim.
Let's just do a show.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. So I think for the next month or so, we might be going over some Spielberg movies, and figured we'd start off with some big ones. Like,
yeah, it's very fitting.
Yeah.
For the month of July, and I kind of want to get into that in this summer, and not. Yeah, it feels like I missed it last summer, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe I missed it. Maybe I was watching too much, like old stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. After you brought that up, I was thinking, like, yeah, this summer I should
cherish the blockbuster vibes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we're still where we are. We're still
just
sheltered in
watch
place.
Straight up entertainment.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Gotta treat yourself to just pure entertainment, and just watch movies for the entertainment value. Yeah. So I think I might try and keep this going throughout the summer, but just watch each week, at least watch one or two classic blockbuster movie, which would be a lot of Spielberg.
Right. E.T. is on my dock because I haven't seen that forever, so we won't be talking about E.T. today because of that, but maybe eventually, because I do need to watch it again. My brother has a Blu-ray, so it's like fully prime for me to just pop it in, and I think it's gonna blow me away weirdly.
I rewatched E.T. in the past few years, and I was shocked at how much I enjoyed it, because I thought it was like a weird movie that I liked as a kid, and then I rewatched it again as an adult. I'm like, no, this is a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it so long, like probably since before my teens, that type of thing. Because I probably felt too cool for E.T.
Totally, yeah. Lame alien flying home on his bike.
He's such a nerd. Yeah, nerd.
Yeah, but today we were talking about the Jaws franchise and the Jurassic Park franchise.
The Monster series.
Yes. These ones are huge, as in, the literal, monsters.
The size of things.
The size of things in these movies are huge. Should we maybe first dive into Jaws? Go chronologically here? Yeah,
let's do it.
All right.
The first of the huge animatronic monsters, and like it definitely shows, but it's also in Jaws, I think everyone's also giving it credit for the time period, how good it looked, and I don't think shark movies have looked as scary as this since, because they look a lot more artificial, and so which is similar to Jurassic Park, which we will get to in a bit. But Jaws is obvious 4th of July type movie. I think it was on in my house on the 4th of July, as it always is, and it's one of those that I can just I can easily just jump into it at any point and just go off, eventually go off on the boat for the hunt, and I'll be stuck there till the end, where Chief Brody fires that shotgun, and then they swims off with Richard Dreyfuss. Yeah,
it's easily one that you can jump into at any point, and be hooked in.
Yeah, and it's just I feel like this movie gets like enough, like more than enough fandom, but I think if anyone also doesn't like Jaws, I'll also probably be really annoyed. I'll be like, say if you say that Jaws is not great, so yeah, and
I love that ending too, where you see Richard Dreyfuss pop back up, and it's genuinely scary. It's like it's a family movie in a way, but also genuinely scary, and you think that these guys will die. Like there's no way that these guys won't die in an attempt to kill this shark. And going back to the shark too, we just talked about like the shallows recently.
Yep.
And when looking at clips of that and just seeing the shark, like it just looks so dumb to me because it's so animated.
It moves so quickly, and there's something about the slow animatronics of this shark that just really always works. It's always really scary.
Mm-hmm. And even in that like famous scene where Roy Schneider is, he's looking the other way and tossing chum into the water, and that this is clearly like the shot is, or the framing of the shot is set up so that a shark's about to pop up right out of nowhere, but it's still so scary.
Yeah, that's a really good example because when you watch a movie like this that many times, it's just things like that you notice.
Yeah, and this is almost like the quintessential summer blockbuster movie too. Because I almost feel like it started it all, and a lot of people
on this.
Feel like
it's the best one to start it off with this summer blockbuster series with, because it is the first real one that was that huge.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels so classical at the same time. So it has it feels like it's taken from Hitchcock in a way, and just like old character dynamics, except it's just doing it all very well.
Yeah.
And I've seen this movie so many fucking times. I just really have. And it's always it's a must every summer. It's a must.
Yeah, I agree, and I definitely haven't watched it every summer, but I feel like I've got to watch it this summer for sure. And it's one of those too that it still has those behind the scenes stories.
I heard one this week. Apparently George Lucas was in the shark at one point or something
really?
like that in the middle of film when they're shooting, I think.
Wow.
So then I'm just watching it and I'm looking at the shark just floating underneath, and I'm just like, what, is he in there now?
Is that George?
It's like, is he like opening up the mouth like when he slams into the cage and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, if I had to pick probably my favorite moment in Jaws, it might be that scene. That scene is fucking crazy.
That is a great scene.
Always nuts when when the shark slams into the cage.
Yeah.
I think it's like definitely out of all the scares in the movie, the one that just continues to be that scary.
Yeah.
Every time.
And this genuinely made people like afraid of going into the water when it came out, and it still does, obviously. But
oh yeah, no, I genuinely I'm no bullshit. Like, it totally still has that effect on me if I go near an ocean, especially since I'm hardly ever by oceans. So I have my whole view of the ocean is just based off of Jaws, really.
Yeah. And even swimming in pools as a kid, I would be afraid that there would be the shark from Jaws come out of nowhere and
I was in a lake. I'm like, who says they're not in here? I don't know. Like, yeah. Spielberg really had a vision for just the fear of the shark. He kind of had put this fear in our head. Really, he created a lot of the shark fear, which it's pretty crazy to think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And I also love too that you have like these not classic movie actors, but these guys from the 70s and 80s, like Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss, who there's all these stories about them, how they hated each other during filming of it, apparently. But Spielberg thought that was like perfect because their characters just also bicker so much. So it was just like such a great dynamic. But I feel like you don't always hear stories as much anymore about people hating each other on set, and that turning into like some great performance.
Unless you count Fast and the Furious.
True, yeah, that is true. Yeah.
But that wouldn't even count because it means like Vin Diesel and The Rock aren't even, and they don't even put them in the same room. So it's like it's definitely like downgrading like the performances or quality in some way, just that they can't be on screen together. But yeah, I did. Have you ever heard of the book Easy Riders, Raging Bulls?
No, I don't think so.
It's one of like the best film books. It's probably my favorite book. And it tells a lot of that just the 70s films that came out in the 70s, including Jaws. And it goes really into depth into like just the production of Jaws and how Robert Shaw specifically was so like difficult on set, and how he was just drinking constantly and so difficult to deal with. Yeah,
that sounds very Robert Shaw.
And so when I think of that now, every time when I watch the performance, and it genuinely enhances it for me a lot, because I think it's already a thingy that you would think is like, this guy is just drunk all the time, this character, but knowing that the performance comes from that really builds the authenticity incredibly.
Yeah, it feels more genuine.
Just makes it so much more enjoyable.
Yeah, right. He's the perfect person for this character, because it seems like it would be who he actually is if he weren't an actor, and if he were actually this character. Like, he just fits it so perfectly. And I feel like in the 70s and 80s had a lot of guys that there's so many stories about them being like really unlikable on set, but then they're so likable on screen too. And right. I feel like Robert Shaw is one of those guys. Yeah. Totally.
Especially because he's playing the bad boy fisherman.
Yeah, bad boy fisherman. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I don't have much more to say about Jaws. I'll be honest, I really want to get into the sequels.
Let's get into the sequels, because
I'm trying to think of how I'm going to approach it, because I haven't seen them that many times, so a lot of this is going to be kind of maybe a little muddled. But when I was a kid, I was so obsessed with Jaws, watching it on TV, and I think it was probably AMC or something like that. They would just play all the Jaws movies.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not sure how many exactly there are. I think I've seen up to maybe Jaws 4. Actually, so there's Jaws 2, there's Jaws 3D, and then there's Jaws the Revenge, which I have also seen. I think I've seen parts of Jaws 3D.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a. I've heard of Jaws. I obviously know of Jaws 2 and Jaws the Revenge. I haven't even heard of Jaws 3D. 1983.
Yeah, I've seen clips from Jaws 3D. I don't think I've seen the full film.
Dennis Quaid.
I feel like there's more that I'm not seeing.
Let's see. Now I specifically haven't seen the Jaws sequels, just because I've. One, it's kind of confusing. Obviously, there's Jaws 2, and Jaws 3D, but nobody ever really talks about them along with
said good things.
Yeah, and I've never heard any good things about them. So obviously, you got to make your own opinions.
I think
on
that's
movies,
all there is, anyways.
Mm-hmm. You got to make your own opinions on movies, but if I've only heard like so many bad things about how ridiculous the sequels are, I it'll take me a lot to watch them. I'm still interested in watching them, but yeah, take me a little push.
They're kind of like watching the Halloween sequels. That's which there are so many more of, but that's basically what they're watching. They're just. And I would say they're maybe worse than the Halloween sequels also. They probably are worse. Yeah, definitely all just attention to character and story that the first one has is just pretty much out the window, and it's all just about the gimmick of that there's a shark and 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 it's just doing that same thing over, where there's just like scenes on the land and then scenes back on sea where they get attacked by the shark and they go back and they're like, what are we gonna do about this? And it's just that over and over again. Like Jaws 2 is Roy Scheider dealing with the shark again, and his kids are a little older. The same mayor is still there. He has the same wife, but of course, Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss aren't in it, and it's clear that Roy Scheider is attached to this to this movie. And there's really nothing new this is bringing in at all. And I think especially what weakens the Jaws sequels are that the shark just always never looks that great. It never looks as good or is as scary or as suspenseful as the first one. Just like the whole look that Spielberg had nailed down is gone out the window. And so those are really the main things that are wrong with them. Other than that, I would mainly say that the Jaws sequels are still fun and kind of worth a dumb day in front of the TV, just like binging the Jaws sequels. Like it's actually kind of fun. But yeah, it's partly fun because it's zero really quality going on. Jaws the Revenge is really something else. In this movie, Chief Brody's widow believes that the shark is coming after her, and so they literally go on a vacation to like the Bahamas or something like that, and the shark comes and she's like, oh my God, there it is. And it's so dumb. And Michael Caine is in the movie, and he like takes her on a plane ride and goes and they start he does all these nose dives with the plane, and he's like, here we go, and then they go back up, and it's just like really bizarre.
that whole summary is ridiculous. The widow of Chief Brody follows her to the Bahamas.
Yeah, and I think like the kids from the first one are like grown men in it.
I'm looking at the poster now, and the right in the poster, the tagline says, "This time it's personal."
Yep, yeah.
The classic revenge tagline.
It's pretty fucking funny, and they all and it's kind of that gimmick, that trope where they're all like, "You're crazy, Mom. There's no way the shark why would a shark be coming after her?" Then she'll see it in the water while they're out on a boat, and she'll be like, oh my god, and she'll like, I have to save them. It's something else.
Wow. I definitely want to see these movies now. Especially
if they're on TV, just don't turn it off and like eat food and just zone out during the trilogy, and it's worth it.
Sweet. Yeah,
I mean the theme is the same.
Well, it's got a great John Williams score, so
yep.
And when you think about it, Jaws, the whole premise of Jaws is really simple. It's, a shark is just terrorizing this beach in this town.
Yeah.
What else can you do with that?
It's mainly because, like, Spielberg had such attention to character in that movie that it became really something so much more.
Yeah. And so then, what can you do with a sequel? And it sounds like they just rehashed the first one in a way. For Jaws 2. So
also the Jaws movies are the invention of like the invention of like just franchises that are not meant to that are franchises, and then the invention of unoriginal filmmaking, which is kind of what we're living in now. Like the Jaws sequels are very. I think I've read that they were very, they were known for like not being made with any thought at all, except for the commercial success of the first one.
Yeah.
And I think Spielberg was very adamant on not being involved.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, obviously Spielberg has done some franchises, and that if he wanted to do a Jaws 2, he would have been a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. He didn't have one in mind.
Yeah. But yeah, it definitely falls into that category. Franchises that are just that turn into cash grabs because of the popularity of one. Yeah.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm still gonna try and watch these sequels.
Might
before
as
the
well
over.
while it's July. Otherwise, there's no reason to do it really.
You do a rewatch of Jaws and then straight into 3D The Revenge. Yeah. Everything.
I actually haven't seen 3D The Revenge, so maybe I need to pop it on.
There you go. Now you got another sequel to watch.
So should we go to the Jurassic Park trilogy?
Now let's go to Jurassic Park. All right. I'm gonna put an ad break in right here. So now me saying this when I do the edit, I'll remember to put an ad break in here. But yeah, then we can just jump into Jurassic Park. Yeah. Do you want to just same thing?
So we pause?
No, we don't have to pause. I'll just
okay.
cut this part out. Yeah.
Right.
And then
yeah. Let's just do the same thing.
Yeah. All right. So Jurassic Park. This another one that I remember being a child and hiding behind the couch when the T-Rex, flips over the car and destroys the bathroom, and they're sitting on the toilet. Isn't it Wayne Knight? Is he sitting on the toilet in that scene?
No, Wayne Knight. That's the lawyer. Wayne Knight steals the eggs.
That's it.
And then gets killed by the Dilophosaurus.
Yeah, I know. I just had to jump right into that scene because I have specific.
That's your Jaws
memories.
cage scene.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a whole, Jurassic Park, I absolutely love. It's definitely one of my top 2 favorite Spielberg movies. It's one I can watch again and again.
I will say it's my for sure favorite Spielberg. It's taken like over the past couple years, maybe just the past year, I've really realized that, because there have just been times where it's on TV, and like I said with Jaws, even more so than Jaws, way more so than Jaws, I get sucked in to Jurassic Park every time. And I just want to see more of it. And it's very similar to how Jaws really just has such great characters. Like, the characters in Jurassic Park are all so perfect, and they're the best actors and everything. But I've also realized that there's something just the storytelling is just so phenomenal. It's like on such another level. It's just like feels very peak Spielberg to me, because like if you just watch the sequence of events in like the first act alone, even way before you're on the island, it's like hooks you in, and they like withhold all the like information like so correctly, like when Dr. Hammond's just like, it's right up your alley, and the way he comes off in that scene, it's just such a good build up to just that opening, all that opening part, especially like the opening scene where it shows like the complications of people dealing with these fucking dinosaurs, in a cage, and how they all have to like zap it over and over again, and that they clearly have no control over this. But I just noticed that like before you're even near the park, it's so engrossing, and you could tell that you're about to see something crazy, but it withholds information so cleverly and builds characters so cleverly.
Yeah.
Before the obvious epicness of of Jurassic Park starts.
Yeah. And then you get to that epicness of they get to the park and that John Williams score.
Yeah, and it's
subtly.
still kind of slowly doing it. You know what I mean? They have the long helicopter ride. The helicopter ride is very long. Like when I was a kid, it's not really that long. It's really not. But when I was a kid, I thought it was like the longest helicopter ride. Same thing with like I remember the dinner scene and the ice cream scene, every scene, which now as like an adult I realize I'm like, holy shit, these are like the best scenes actually in the movie. But when I was a kid I was like, these are like 30-minute long scenes. Like,
come on, get to the dinosaurs.
Yeah. But those scenes are so every scene in this movie is very perfect and interconnected with the next, and it's a great introduction to Jeff Goldblum's character in the helicopter.
Yeah.
And that infamous laugh.
Yes, the great laugh in the helicopter. I've watched YouTube videos of that just like on repeat.
Yeah. To like some video, I don't remember what it is, but it's like if Jeff Goldblum's laugh was occurring during this, it's just over and over again.
I've seen that too, yeah. And Jeff Goldblum has such a great character in this that this made
like,
people fall in love with Jeff Goldblum.
How like goofy he is in this like mixed with Sam Neill's incredible sternness is just so great. It's so great to watch, and like Laura Dern is like just in the middle of it, just kind of like laughing at the fact that Sam Neill's always grumpy and shit, and laughing at how goofy Jeff Goldblum is. It just these people just feel so genuinely real for a blockbuster, a giant blockbuster, probably like one of the best, easily.
Yeah,
blockbusters.
Yeah. And
like just the logo of this movie, you're just like, oh, blockbuster theme park ride type summer movie, you know, like it's like speaks it.
Yeah, and you know, Scorsese said that one thing about Marvel movies about how they're more like theme park rides than cinema, and you know, in a way, it does feel like Jurassic Park is like a theme park ride, but in the best way. You know, it's a cinematic experience that you go along for the ride. You almost feel like one of these kids that's like, wow, this huge majestic park where there's like, as a kid you love dinosaurs and all that, and there's this grandiose John Williams score, and and then like I said, obviously shit hits the fan because it turns out bringing dinosaurs back to life is a terrible idea because there's no way to control them.
So like this movie does have, in that way, just like a ton to say about humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's all the parts of the movie that as a child you don't get.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I was saying with that dinner scene with Jeff Goldblum, that's like my favorite scene now. It really is. I think his monologue is fantastic, where he's just like, you package it, now you're before you even know what you had, now you're selling it. And it's just like it's it's
right.
awesome. It's so smart. Because you have just seen, like, your mind has just genuinely been blown. Like you've just seen like the real dinosaurs as far as you can tell as a movie watching experience goes. You're just kind of mind blown, and then after all this magnificence, it's just like flips it on its head, and there's all this the real part of it just comes.
No, that's a great point. I really need to rewatch this now too and appreciate like scenes like that dinner scene more. Because it does.
No, it's actually
too.
it's a really great scene. I stop now like to watch it, and I'll like not watch other shit. Then I'll be like, oh, here we go, the dinner scene.
Oh, you know?
Like when they lower the cow in after, I'm like, dude, here the dinner scene's coming up after this. He's like, condors. If I wanted to breed some condors. Yeah,
man, and when when it's really going crazy, it is going so bonkers that it's so much fun. Like I don't know, I have so much fun with this movie from the beginning when of that scene that I brought up where you see the water glass, the T-Rex is stomping towards them. The water glass is like shaking, and all of a sudden this giant T-Rex is here, and then it's mayhem from there. And I don't know, it's just such a fun ride. And it always it brings me like that nostalgia, while also still being just a high quality adventure movie too.
Yeah, my parents were saying, which I related to this even though it didn't happen to me. They were saying that, like, remember how crazy it was when they were in the theater and the Brontosaurus just like comes out of nowhere and Laura Dern's just like mind blown, just like staring up. By the way, Laura Dern, that scene is incredible. And I am just like, that does sound like an otherworldly experience to be in the theater seeing that Brontosaurus for the first time. Probably weren't any dinosaurs in any of the trailers, and you're just seeing one of the best like CGI things in movies ever. And plus one of the best scores ever is playing during it. It's just like, it's crazy. It's definitely something I wish I was there for when it came out. It would have been
same. Obviously great memories seeing this as a kid, but I was born the year it came out, so I never saw it in the theaters. But it's one of those. I wish I could see it in the theaters.
Nevertheless, even if you didn't see it in the theater with other people, everyone has that first moment where they see the Brontosaurus with Sam Neill and Laura Dern. And it's just like, and you feel exactly how they feel. Like, I cannot believe this.
It's like
is
exhilarating.
It feels like mankind actually like recreated dinosaurs and stuff. Yeah, because in a way they did just by making the movie.
And that's the John Williams score is definitely one of my favorite scores. I don't even know if it's been on one of my lists, but it should be.
It's too good of a score.
Well, like Jaws, I feel like Jurassic Park, there isn't like a ton of different ways you could really take the story too, which has led to a lot of like bad sequels. So I don't know, do you have more to say about Jurassic Park before we get into the sequels?
No, that's good. Let's go to the Lost World.
The Lost World,
which I was also on TV a couple weeks ago, and I was able to catch some of it.
Nice.
This is probably the best sequel, though, I would say, if I had to pick. I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't know. I think that after some of the things that have been done in the past decade with the Jurassic series, I think the Lost World to me is almost like a masterpiece. Cause
in comparison to other things,
Jurassic World has been that bad. But at the same time, the Lost World is like, it's not perfect and it's not 100%. It's not necessarily necessary. But I do like the cast a lot in it, and I do think it's very well directed. I think Spielberg has a lot of fun in this movie with just finding new dinosaur chasing techniques, pretty much, because he just kind of expands his realm in this. He has a lot of there's a lot of dinosaur set pieces in this. There's definitely a lot more dinosaurs in this than the first one, as there would be. Like, I think there's 2 T-Rexes.
Yes, yeah, there is. Yeah, that's what the studio is probably like. All right, we need more dinosaurs. All right, we're gonna do Jurassic Park with
And
even more
Spielberg's
dinosaurs.
like, I will give you dinosaurs. We'll hang an RV. We'll hang 2 RVs from a cliff with 2 T-Rexes. And
What more
everyone's
could you ask for? Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh my god, this is gonna be nuts.
Yeah, I think that's how those meetings
That
went.
is pretty, like, if you think about it, I've grown up with that scene, so I'm desensitized, but that is a pretty crazy fucking scene.
Wild. Yeah. Wild.
It's like the car scene in the first one, but like 5 times, like,
Yeah.
you know?
Even bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like they wanted to go just even bigger with this one. And I agree with you on a lot of things too. Like I don't think this is like a terrible movie at all.
No. It has good things in it.
Yeah.
But
it's just if something like this, came out first, then who knows if there would even be this successful franchise afterwards. But yeah, I mean, to compare it to the first one, it's not nearly on the same level, but it is still I think a really just solid summer blockbuster.
yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
like all of these are. I assume that it's probably much better than the Jaws sequels.
For sure. That's what I was about to say. Like, this is definitely the best sequel we're covering today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
For
I've
sure.
rewatched the Lost World plenty of times, and I still would.
There's a lot
too.
of scenes that I'm like, I want to tune in for this.
Mm-hmm.
I like it when the velociraptors hunt the guys in the tall grass.
I love that scene. Yeah.
And I like when the guy gets killed by all the little dinosaurs. I always think that's really scary. And
yeah, it still brings in like some horror elements into it too, like the first one. And they bring back, Jeff Goldblum and Richard Attenborough. And then I still like I like Vince Vaughn. And
I do.
Julianne
I
Moore
like
in
Vince
this too.
Vaughn in this movie. Yeah, they're kind of just like very much inserted into the world, but they don't feel like intrusive or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you always miss that old cast.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
whole thing, you'll never. It's never quite that.
Yeah. It's nice to have like Jeff Goldblum and Richard Attenborough, but then you're always thinking like, what about Laura Dern and Sam Neill? And,
which is why when I was a kid, the third one was a favorite of mine because I liked the fact that they brought Sam Neill back, and even if he just had one scene with Laura Dern, I was just like, wow, we're coming, we're back home.
Yeah. The crew is back.
She's gonna save him. He's trying to call her. She's gonna save him from the island.
Yeah, and Jurassic Park 3 is of the 3 movies I've watched the least, for sure. I don't remember the last time I watched Jurassic Park 3, but it's probably been at least 10 years.
Well, this is another like I forget what movie we were talking about earlier, but this is another that I've rewatched a lot. Oh yeah, we were talking about War of the Worlds. Yeah, I have rewatched Jurassic Park 3 a weird amount of times for how like well known it is to be just like not a good movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the thing with all of these is that even the sequels, I'm still sure made millions upon hundreds of millions of dollars, like, easily.
And I mean Jurassic Park, and they're like, I would also say Jurassic Park 3, while it is not great, I would say it is not nearly as bad as any of the Jaws sequels. And I think there's a lot of reasons, there's a lot of things in Jurassic Park 3 that are worth watching, and then there's a lot of stupid things in Jurassic Park 3.
Mm-hmm.
But these stupid things kind of like, I don't know, they kind of make it fun for me. They're kind of, it's kind of a goofy film for me. Like watching Taya Leone and William H. Macy argue, I actually get a real kick out of, and and just like how they deceive, the whole plot of them being Sam Neill being deceived to get stuck on the island, and then he starts like he just starts being like a total dick to William H. Macy. it's just kind of really funny to me.
Yeah, and now
like
that I
William
think
H.
about
Macy's like as usual, William H. Macy is not a respectable guy.
Yeah.
Like, when is William H. ever a real respectable guy?
No, yeah, not at all. I recently rewatched Fargo, and
yeah.
well, I love his performance in that.
Yeah.
It's the same way.
He's one of the best, but he's always playing some sort of schmuck type guy.
Yeah. Same with Fargo and this. His character is so unlikable, but he's so great at that.
It's so funny where he's like Kirby Enterprises, and then later he's like, when they're confronting him, he's like, it's Kirby Paint and Tile Plus. It's for bathroom and furniture.
and you just don't care about this guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I wonder why Spielberg, if there was like a reason Spielberg didn't do this one as well, if he wasn't available, didn't want to do it, or I don't know, for any other reasons. But it's directed by Joe Johnston, who then also did, some of these other 90s like big 90s family movies like Jumanji and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That's not bad. That's enough to get the keys to the kingdom in a way.
I feel like that he was like the perfect person to tap for like a movie like this that would would still make plenty of money, but wouldn't necessarily be like that.
Jurassic Park 3 is one of the. It's just like, it definitely strays away clearly from the first two, and how the first two are just clearly about the same thing, and about how we it was raw, like we should stay away from nature, that sort of thing. Let nature play its course. And I really don't know what Jurassic Park 3 is about.
No.
It really does not have that that feel to it, so it doesn't feel quite like Jurassic Park as much. But if I'm gonna go off that point, then the Jurassic World franchises, if you see the Jurassic franchise the way I see it, then the Jurassic World franchises are basically like horse manure with like what they've done, because oh my god.
Yeah. And I've seen the first Jurassic World movie, and I started the second one, and I couldn't finish it.
Yeah. The second one is like one of the worst things that Hollywood has done. Like, I think The Rise of Skywalker is pretty awful, but I would say it's nowhere near as bad as Jurassic World 2. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, let's see. It's 2.6 on Letterboxd. Yeah, which I feel like is probably generous. I really struggled to get through the first half hour, which I think is about all I did before I gave up. Just because it was one of those things I could tell I just wasn't in. I just wasn't into
really
it right
just,
away.
Like, disrespectful, like how much they just fuck up this whole franchise. It's so awful. It's so atrocious. There's like dinosaurs in this movie that like fall on like giant ones that fall onto houses, and then like are just like dangling over houses, and it looks awful. And there's just like no respect for the dinosaurs the way the original one does. Even Jurassic Park 3 has just all the respect in the world in a way for dinosaurs. I agree. And I just don't get what they're trying to do. And they're kind of just rehashing the same exact sort of stories, but just in a very shallow way.
and there's just it's just all about Chris Pratt and these new, whatever, genetically enhanced dinosaurs, and how this thing keeps happening where they keep building this dinosaur park where they bring back dinosaurs, and it always goes bad, but they still do it, and I don't know, it just seems very shallow to me.
Yeah, I remember when I saw the first Jurassic World, I actually kind of liked it, and I think if I rewatched it, I would definitely not.
I think it was generally like fairly well liked, not like highly praised.
It really gives the nostalgia vibes.
Yeah, because they do. I think in a similar way. This might be a bad comparison. I don't know, but you know how like The Force Awakens.
No, I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
I really liked The Force Awakens when I first saw it. I was like, I remember eating food with family afterwards, and I was like, that was so great, and I just had like the best experience. But then I rewatched it, and I was just like, wait a second, this isn't a movie, and I think that's what I would feel about Jurassic World.
Right. Yeah, and I do remember. I didn't dislike Jurassic World, but I thought that it was pretty much sort of same thing.
I remember getting goosebumps when the T-Rex like roars and the Jurassic World sign comes down, and it's even like a wider shot of the park. Because it's just like picking into your what you like, what they know you like, and it's it's kind of bullshit because that's what one of the things that are killing movies these days.
Yeah, and I was genuinely excited to see it too, because I was totally on board with more Jurassic Park movies.
I mean, at first with all the remake stuff, I was like, okay, I'll go see this. I'm excited to see it, And on top of that, I have all these superhero movies to see, so my life is going pretty well. But then after they all came out, and then more started to come out, and the first wave started to settle in, I've just like realized like, holy shit, we're just headed down this like horrible path in the blockbuster realm.
When is it gonna end? And I'm looking on Letterboxd too. I didn't realize this, but apparently Jurassic World 3 Dominion comes out in 2021.
Yeah, and
I'd not heard about that.
I think they got someone for that, like possibly Laura Dern and Sam Neill.
Oh, you were right. Oh my God, yeah. So I still have Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard from the first two Jurassic Worlds, and then they have Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Tia Leone, William H. Macy, Julianne Moore, Vince Vaughn. Don't tell me to stop. Yeah, that's it though. Yeah, those are like the big names.
Wow.
I didn't realize that they got everyone from the franchise.
And fuck them, because now I'm gonna watch it.
They
because
hooked
why
you. There you go.
why would I not want to watch every single person that's been in there?
I will definitely try to see that in the theaters now. Now that I know the cast,
no matter how bad it is, like, why anybody will see a movie with that cast, no matter what it's about.
Yeah, and there's two popular reviews on Letterboxd. Obviously, it hasn't come out yet, but people just write random reviews. One person says, "Please just stop, just fucking stop," and then another person says, "The original cast is back and it makes it impossible to not be an amazing movie." And I almost agree with both. Yeah,
it is like really fucking obnoxious, like of a thing to do, because no one likes the Jurassic World franchise. It's obviously critically horribly regarded, and after the second one, who's gonna really see a third? Like they know it's gonna tank, so they're just like, fuck you, then we'll get everybody and we'll make you see it. And so now we're all gonna see it. I mean, they definitely got us. It's just so weird that
they bring back all of these different characters when
like even William H. Macy and Taylor Leone, who we were just talking about, who we like remember. We remember their characters, even though we talked about how that Jurassic Park 3 is one of the worst ones in the worst one in the original series. We're still down to. I want to see those characters again.
I'd see it again. Yeah.
This many years later.
It's just weird to me that they have like Tia Leone and William H. Macy then were only in Jurassic Park 3, and Julianne Moore and Vince Vaughn were only in The Lost World, and they bring them back in for this one movie, and then the original, main cast members too. It's weird.
Yeah, that's really mind blowing.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be
content.
Yeah. Man, yeah. Talk about
that's what we
content.
Offer, mind-blowing content.
I imagine this is gonna be like 3.5 hours long, and
I think 2 was super fucking long.
Oh yeah, all the Jurassic World ones have been long.
I think I watched 2 on a New Year's Eve, like where I just was like alone, and I was like, I'm not doing anything for New Year's Eve, so I'll watch Jurassic World 2.
Yeah, so Jurassic World 1 was just over 2 hours. Why can't I find? Okay.
2 hours and 8 minutes. So it's.
Yeah.
But I will say, it feels very long.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're bringing back. Colin Trevorrow is coming back to direct the third one. He directed the first one.
They're like, all right, he directed the masterpiece first one that stole from the original first one the best, so we'll bring him back.
And then he'll steal from the third one in this one. Yeah, it's weird to me looking at Colin Trevorrow's filmography because he's done like these like small indie movies, like Safety Not Guaranteed, and then he's done just the biggest blockbuster movies like Jurassic World. And he almost did a Star Wars movie, but that really made my night. I'm excited to see that movie in 2021 now.
Yeah, and, whenever we see it.
Yeah, and
whenever it comes out,
Universal or whatever studio, I think it's Universal. They'll get my money, and smart decision by them.
Did I ever you would know because you edit these. Did I talk about the Tenet trailer last week?
Yeah, we talked about that in the beginning a little.
All right, I'm not gonna talk about it again. It's good. I was like literally about to talk about it again. I was like,
say the same exact thing.
So, dude, did you see the Tenet trailer? That trailer blew my mind. So I won't say that. But all right, well here, what I will say is that going off the summer blockbuster theme, I have been to Universal Studios in LA, and there's a lot of Jurassic Park ride stuff.
I've been to the one in Orlando. Yeah, I think there's just one Jurassic Park ride there. But yeah.
And there's a Jurassic Park on the studio tour in LA that they take you on, which I must say is something else. It is quite an impressive studio tour. There is a like virtual ride that you go on in it, which is really incredible. They just kind of put you into this like giant box and all these this virtual technology that I don't know I don't know what it is. There's all these screens surround you and mixed. Yeah, and you're kind of just in these tourist, one of those tourist, like, I don't know, buses or like the mini buses type thing. And then you just go in there and it's just this crazy dinosaur ride.
That sounds awesome.
It is really awesome.
I've been dying to do a studio tour at some point. So
yeah, do the Universal one because they put all the money in it, and there's like a part of the tour where you kind of swim right by a scene that they recreate from Jaws, where it's like a mechanical thing of Chief Brody hanging over the water and the very much like a Disney ride where you're like looking at things, but it's like very directly to movies that and they put a lot of production value in it. Like they have a legit like Bates Motel like set
Really?
that you go by, and
Oh my
then
God.
Norman Bates runs at you with like a knife.
What?
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's such a like homage to like people who just
Wow.
grew up paying attention to movies.
Wow. No, talk slower. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. I want to hear more. No. You're getting me all hot and heavy talking about this Universal Studios tour. Whoa. I might need to take a break for a second. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you're not too far.
Yeah, I know. That's
I mean,
once
once
stuff starts
California
opening
stops being a yeah, right. Once California stops being a pandemic zone, you should go.
Once we stop
First
being
thing.
a cesspool for
Yeah.
spreading the virus, like that'll be the first place I go. Road trip down to LA.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Disney World in Florida is open.
They just opened.
Which
and
is
Florida
pretty
had
fu-
like the biggest, like the record number of
Yeah.
cases in one day.
So I
Yeah.
think you have to like wear a mask around Disney World, which is just so dumb.
And you're not allowed to scream. I think that too.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. There's a theme park in Japan who they opened up, and they have like strict rules that you're not allowed to scream. And it said, instead of screaming with your mouth, scream with your heart. Yeah.
So dumb.
That is, yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, yeah, I get it. Not, screaming, as that's just gonna shoot a bunch of germs out of your mouth to the people behind you. But yeah, what a time we live in right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But anyways, I thought I would connect the blockbuster theme park ride, not cinema movies,
Yeah.
to real theme park rides based off the movies that I went on that actually kind of blew my mind when I went on them. So
yeah,
very
nice.
just trying to spread those summer vibes, man.
Summer vibes, yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed the Jurassic Park ride at Universal Orlando too. So, not only does Spielberg have some of these great summer blockbuster movies, but they've been turned into some pretty good rides too. Gotta say. Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland is pretty darn fun. Yeah.
Ooh, it's a Disneyland ride?
Yeah.
Wait, dude, I think I went on that. I think I went on that. I don't remember a lot of Disneyland.
If you've been to Disneyland, you've probably been on that one.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I
yeah.
did. I didn't like Disneyland that much.
If you go to Disney World first, then Disneyland pales in comparison.
It fucks it up.
Yeah.
I think everyone in LA, just because they have it, they're like, yeah, Disneyland. But
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
Disneyland, when we got there, we were all like, we were so disappointed.
Yeah. That's why, yeah, like Carly has only been to Disneyland now because we went there.
So it was
earlier this
probably
year.
like, yeah.
So
it was probably,
she loved it, yeah. And
Yeah.
I still really like Disneyland, but it just, the whole time we were there, I was telling her how much bigger Disney World is.
So you see what we just saw? That you were like, well, picture like 10 times that.
Yeah.
And like
That's
a
a
whole
tenth
and it's
of
a whole
this.
country.
It's like a whole section of Florida is Disney World, and then Disneyland is these.
You got
There's
like
these
the
two parks.
you got the Everglades, and then like a bigger speck next to it is like Disney World.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was some good theme park banter in there too.
Yeah.
Also remind me of the summer. Well, yeah. So I guess that caps off our sort of monster, big ass animal Spielberg movies.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll be back with some more Spielberg blockbusters this summer.